Hey mathematicians, it's JP from Geeky Teachy. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use grid method long division using a 4-digit dividend and a 1-digit divisor. So notice that before I've started, I've turned my paper 90 degrees so that the blue lines on my paper are going vertically. This is really going to help when we start adding and subtracting within our dividend to help keep our place values lined up. So today we're going to be dividing 9,856 by 7. So before I get started, I need to figure out how many boxes I'm going to need for my grid method. I can do that by counting the digits in my dividend. So I have 4 digits, so I'm going to need 4 boxes. So I'm going to use the lines on my paper, and I'm going to count over 3 columns for each box. I find that 3 columns really gives me just the right amount of space that I need when I'm adding, subtracting, and bringing up remainders. Okay, so now that I have my boxes, I can go ahead and put my digits inside each box. So I'm going to start with my largest place value, which is the thousands place. And I'm going to put those digits one at a time inside each box in the farthest right-hand column within each box. So each digit will have its box and each digit will be in the farthest right-hand column. My divisor is going to stay outside of my grid just like it would for standard algorithm long division. So before I get started, I need to do 2 things. I need to list my multiples of 7 as well as write my steps for the long division process. So I'm going to put my multiples of 7 off to the side here. Notice that even when I'm writing my multiples, I'm using these blue lines on the paper to separate my place values. It really helps me keep track of my numbers and makes my work look nice and neat. So now that I have my multiples, I can list the steps for my division process. I like to use the does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers regularly. So that's divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring up, and repeat. So now that I have my multiples, my steps for division, and my grid method set up, now I can start dividing. So I'm only going to be looking at this first box, looking at how many times can 7 divide into 9. Well, 7 can divide into 9 one time. After I divide, I'm going to multiply. So 1 times 7 is 7. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 7 is 2. After I subtract, I'm going to check. Is my remainder smaller than my divisor? Is 2 smaller than 7? If the answer is yes, I can go ahead and bring that 2 up into my next box, creating a new dividend of 28. So now I'm going to repeat my division process, starting with dividing. So I'm only dividing into this second box now. So how many times can 7 divide into 28? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now that I've divided, I can multiply. 4 times 7 is 28. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. I'm going to check now. Is my remainder smaller than my divisor? The answer is yes. I can bring up the 0, or I really don't have to, but as a visual, I kind of make my students bring it up to start. Once they understand that there's really nothing there, then it's really not necessary to bring that 0 up. So now we are only dividing into this box with a 5. How many times can 7 divide into 5? It can't, so we're going to put a 0 above our 5 there. After we divide, we're going to multiply. 0 times 7 is 0. Next, we're going to subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. 0 minus 0 is nothing. Then I'm going to check. Is my remainder smaller than my divisor? Yes. So I can bring that 5 up into my next box. And now I'm only dividing into this last box. So how many times can 7 divide into 56? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. After I divide, I can multiply. 8 times 7 is 56. 6 minus 6 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Is my remainder smaller than my divisor? Yes. I have nothing left to bring up, and I have no more boxes to divide into. So that means my quotient is 1,408, and I would check my work by doing 1,408 times 7, and I should get a product of 9,856.